Hello all and welcome back to my custom filming studio. Today we're going to talk about bike trackers. As you probably guessed by the description name and the title of this video, I've been using the Monimoto Tracker for the last 2 years, or just over 2 years. I bought the Monimoto back in January of 2019. In this video, I'm going to go through why I bought the Monimoto Tracker as opposed to the other bike trackers on the market. And I'm going to go through some pros and cons as to what I've found in my use of it. So stick around and stay tuned if you're interested. So what does the Monimoto Tracker consist of? This is the device. I have debated hiding this and saying I shouldn't show you what it's like and all that sort of stuff, just in case any sort of potential dickhead thieves are watching, but then at the same time you can see it on the Monimoto website. So unfortunately it doesn't really make much difference. There will still be arseholes out there. As you can see, this is the Monimoto Tracker. It's had a few scuffs over the years and wear marks where I've had it mounted in my bike. So it's basically a cylindrical shape. It's about 12.5 centimeters long and it's about 3.5 centimeters at its widest point. So you can mount that anywhere. Don't just stick it under your seat or in your top box, because it's those potential dickheads we were talking about will find it very, very easily. What this consists of inside, so just taking that out completely, you've got two CR123 batteries which go in here. You've got the SIM card which go in there, which we'll talk about in a minute. I think this is just a USB mini port which you can do updates and things like that on. There's two little arrows that you can, I don't know if you can actually make that out, where you connect it up. There you go. So this has actually been updated since I bought this back in 2019. There's a slightly updated version of this, and there's a slightly updated key fob as well. First of all, going into price. So they do two versions. There is an MM5 version and an MM6 version. The MM5 is a 2G network. It works on GPS and GSM, which is where I mentioned that SIM card before. Basically, that is for inside the EU and the UK. Obviously, I don't know whether that's going to be affected by the dreaded B word. So far, that's all I've needed. It's been absolutely fine so far. The MM6 version, I think, is more of a worldwide coverage, so I think that's slightly more expensive. This is $149 the last time I checked, and I think that's what I paid as well. I paid for an additional key, so we'll get onto that in a minute. And I think the MM6 version is around $179, so pretty cheap as trackers go. You normally get your first 6 months or a year free, and then after that it's a rolling annual subscription. That is €36, so that works at about £30, which is what, £2.50 a month, which is a bargain. So going on to this, now this is, as I said before, this is an old style key fob. They have a new version of this which is slightly better, and I think the new ones are more waterproof or water resistant, whereas these ones weren't. The way this works, this is in your bike somewhere. This is obviously on my keys. This automatically disarms when the key fob is in distance, or I think it's within 10 feet or something like that. What will happen is as soon as you walk out of distance with the key fob, this automatically arms itself. It's got an accelerometer in there, so any movement at all, this will kick up a fuss. I think they claim it's under a minute. It will send a notification to your phone, and then if you can set it to ring your phone as well. But if there's continuous movement, it will ring your phone and tell you that there's been a movement on your device. I can stand by that. It does send you a notification. I've had my bike parked in an underground car park in London. Obviously, underground car park, no GPS or anything, but it sensed a movement and it sent a notification to my phone, and then I've sprinted to the car park to make sure no one's nicking my bike. Now, to give you an idea of this, let me just pop that off. You've got a standard CR2032 battery in there, which literally just plugs into the PCB like that. Really, really simple stuff. Goes in there. You have one side of the mount, the other side of the mount. That just clicks together. Job done. So as you can see, I just leave that on my key. I find it easiest. So that's the Monimoto device and the key. Let's go into some competitors, shall we? As I mentioned at the start, price. Price was one of the key factors for me to go into this. I was fresh into biking. I didn't have a lot of money at the time. Obviously I just forked out on my lovely pride and joy. So yeah, this was 149, and then obviously I have the €36 annual subscription after the first year. If you look at all the main competitors, you've got companies like Bike Track, Data Tool, and various others. Bike Track is around, I think Bike Track is around 300 for the initial unit, and then you've got a $9.99 monthly subscription. And then you've got companies like Data Tool, which I think are $250, so slightly cheaper than Bike Track. It's about a £9.50 monthly subscription as well. So if you look at the cost over the course of 2 or 3 years, although features wise Bike Track and Data Tool might be a bit more feature rich, this is a lot cheaper and does a lot of what I need from it. So coming into the pros of this, as you can see, there's literally no wires at all, no initial setup or anything like that you need to do. You don't need to pay someone to fit it for you. You literally just mount this in your bike. I don't know whether you can see here. So you have a hole there and a hole there, so you can loop. I mean, I loop a zip tie around and I fix it somewhere discreetly on my bike, so you don't get in my bike. That gives me a really good option. I just fit a zip tie through, and I can tie it to the frame, I could tie it underneath somewhere, I could tie it to the bottom of the battery compartment, like literally whatever. The only thing you need to do, as you might be able to see here, it says GPS, so the ideal scenario is you have that facing up. It's like a phone signal. If it's got a clear view of the sky, the better, but I've had this in various places which it doesn't have a clear view of the sky and it still worked completely fine. Another good point is it doesn't drain your battery. You find a lot of people with the Bike Track and the Data Tools and all these other trackers, because they're wired into the bike, they're constantly just eating away your battery life. If you leave your bike for a couple of weeks, there's a high chance that it's gonna have gone flat. So there are a lot of people that keep their bike on charge more than they normally would because the tracker is taking from that battery life. This doesn't. It's battery powered, the key's battery powered. There's no link to your bike at all. If thieves nick your bike, they rip the bike apart, try and find a tracker, they cut the wires, they take the battery off, this still works. As I mentioned, you can move it between bikes. Bike Track, Data Tool, I mean, I'm saying these two because I know they're the bigger two in the market, whereas I know there are many others out there. If you get one of those fitted to your bike, it's then fitted to that bike. If I trade this in and it's wired into the bike, you've either got to pay someone to take it off and pay someone to refit it to your new bike, or you just deal with the fact that if you've lost it, you pay for it again. This, I literally just take it off one bike and put it on the other. My dad's had a couple of bikes in the time that he's had the Monimoto, and he just moves it between bikes. It's so simple. This in alarm mode will last up to 10 days, I think it is claimed. Now, what happens with that is when the alarm mode goes off, it's constantly pinging the GPS coordinates and it's constantly pinging any data it's got to your phone. It's not a live tracker, so you can't log into your phone and see where your bike is at any one point. But once the alarm is triggered, it does a live location, and that can last up to 10 days. It's obviously going to use more battery if it's moving all the time, but yeah, it can last up to 10 days, which is pretty good. You can trigger active tracking from your phone as well, which is quite nice. How long do the batteries last? From the device itself, I get around 3 to 5 months. I say around 3 to 5 months. I know that's quite a difference. I tend to find that the longer I'm out of distance of the bike, meaning this is like active, the more it drains the battery. If I'm riding the bike, obviously these two know, and there's just a ping between each every couple of minutes, just going, yeah, I'm still here, yeah, I'm still here. Because my house is literally there, the Monimoto, if it's within range, it won't be armed downstairs, so it lasts a bit longer, which is when I can get the 5 months out of it. If I move this up to my bedroom, for example, where it is out of range I tend to find that it only lasts like 3 months. Batteries are really cheap, get them on Amazon for a couple of quid, doesn't matter. Same with the key batteries. I've only ever replaced the key battery once, I think, and I've had it for 2 years. So you get the notification to say that the battery's running low, and then you still got a week or so before it actually will die. I've never had them actually die on me, which is quite nice. But going back to the point where I've got my key in my house and it's still talking to each other, as soon as your bike rides out of distance, within a minute, then it will ping my phone. So coming on to the cons then. As I said, I've had it for 2 years. If it was crap, I'd have got rid of it by now, because what's the point? You may as well not bother. As you probably guessed, the batteries are the biggest con of this. It seems like there's just every now and again I'll get a ping going, your battery's flat. You're like, gotta buy more batteries, or gotta go and dig it out from the bike and put the batteries in, which is a pain in the backside, but then at the same time, for the money that I'm saving and the ease of use, it doesn't matter, really doesn't bother me. As it's so easy to install, it's obviously very easy to remove as well. If you have a thief that knows what they're looking for, or you've done a really naff job of hiding it, it's quite easy to just pull it out and lob it, and that's the end. There's no other tie to your bike at all. One of the things they'll do is they'll put it in the storage unit, strip it down, and if you've only hidden this under the seat or it's in the top box or something like that, they're going to find it and they're just going to throw it away. In that point, it becomes a bit pointless having a tracker, but then when you compare it to paying double the cost for a bike tracker plus the monthly subscription, and they go in with a pair of scissors and cut it, like, is there much difference? I don't know. Like I mentioned before, the key fob, this one isn't waterproof, so it's not an issue. Like, if you're riding along, it's not getting drenched in water anyway, and 9 times out of 10 you'll have this in your pocket or in the ignition. Like, unless you're leaving your key in your bike and then leaving it in the rain, which if you're doing that, there's no point in having a tracker. I've never had this fail. It's been in the rain, it's been in, I mean, I live in the UK, so, you know, need I say more? It hasn't died, it hasn't got water damage or anything like that, but it would just be nice to know that it is. This is completely waterproof. So the only other con is this isn't Thatcham approved, which means you won't get discount on your insurance. Bike Track, Data Tool and a few of the others are Thatcham approved, which means if you tell your insurance company about it, there's a slight chance they'll give you a discount. Probably not, because most insurance companies are thieving dicks, but it could give you a bit of a discount. If you can't see my phone screen, I'll put a little recording here, and we should be good to go. Let's get into the app, shall we? Let's go into Monimoto. So you've got your devices here. So this will come up with, this is obviously my tracer. It's come up with the name that I've given it, and then it will also give you a last communication date and how many key fobs you've got. You can sync up more than one key fob to a bike, or to a tracker, should I say. So if you do have, say you and your other half use the same bike, you can both have your set of keys and you can both use the bike, and it will not kick up a fuss. So we go into this, you can see that I've got my battery status on the device, you can see that it's ready, you can see I've got one key attached and the battery is okay. So that is the home screen. You have your events. I've got this set to every 2 days. I get a notification. On this, it will tell you your GSM, so your signal. So you can see now, when the one that was just done a minute ago, I've got quite a strong signal. And then you'll also get an alarm determining Monimoto's location. So what actually happened here is I moved, I think I was at my parents' or something like that, and I rode the bike up and down the drive to test something that I've just done, and I didn't have the Monimoto fob on the keys. And then once it had found the key fob, it went back into ready mode, and then we're good to go again. And then I got this regular update from Monimoto was not received. This is when the battery went flat. I hadn't replaced the battery. You can see here that it was actually over the course of a week where I hadn't actually replaced the battery, and that's all that happens. You will get a different pop-up that says your battery's running low. When you get towards the end of your subscription, you'll get a notification saying that it has expired or is going to expire, and then you get the notification saying it's been topped up. If you go into help, you've obviously got everything else that comes with it. So you've got the menu, you've got how it works, troubleshooting, batteries, the SIM card, any information about this, general and daily use, and you can also message them about whatever issues you might be having. If you go into settings, hit connect, should be pretty quick. There you go. That has now connected to the Monimoto, and it'll only do that if the key fob's in range. You have more information here, so you've got your key fobs, your settings, you've got any diagnostic stuff that you want to send on to the developers. If the vehicle has been stolen with the keys, i.e. with your key fob, you can start active tracking. and it'll just ping the location constantly, so you can hopefully get your bike back. If we go into settings, this is where you have your name. You can do the profile, so whether it's a car or a motorcycle. You've got your interval, so you can set how many days you get a notification. So I just get a ping just saying Monimoto's ready, like we saw on the previous pages. You can show your location on the regular update, but that does reduce the battery life. You can also change your sensitivity from high, default and low. I don't really want to risk it at all, so I've got that on high. So it's really quick, really simple app, really easy to use. So that's basically it. Let's go back to me. So there you go, a very quick pros and cons of a 2-year ownership on the Monimoto device. I hope that's been of interest to you. If you've got any questions, do the usual, stick them in the comment section below and I'll do my best to answer them. Personally, I think it's a great little device. I'm gonna get another one for my car as well, because I just think it'd be easy to bury in the car somewhere. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.